Today, I want to get into a scary pic floating online of allegedly Jung Kook at the emergency room. We then also have an alleged hater planning on attacking Jung Kook and his recent sighting with Mingyu. And then we have Jung Kook calling someone out by name, which is hilarious. So hey Dumplings, is Dave, decide hater or not? Make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey Spling Mug merch, and let's go. People on TikTok, or at least some of the armies there, like to do things like death or injury fantasy. Basically create this fantasy story or situation in which the members die or get severely injured. And I think this is because they want to see the general reaction to a situation like this. Not too long ago, there was a trend on TikTok where people were talking about what their reaction was going to be when their kid, 50 years in the future, would tell them that a BTS member passed. I mean, this is pretty crazy trend that I'm sure if the members saw, they'd be like, why is everyone talking about when I die? And this type of content makes sense as to how it became a trend and went viral just because of how disturbing it is. It's very attention grabbing when you see something death related to someone you look up to or love. I guess it could also be marketed towards people who just enjoy feeling sad, but please don't watch this type of content. Not only is it disturbing, but it cannot be good for your mental health to constantly be thinking or taking in this type of stuff. So naturally, this content still exists outside of the trend, even though that specific trend has died, because I guess there's a specific group that likes this stuff. People would take photos of someone that appeared to look like the members and then use it as part of their death or injury fantasy. One person used a photo of what appeared to be Jung Kook on a ventilator and claimed that Jung Kook was in the hospital. And then the majority of comments are asking why and what happened. The video did go viral, and I want to explain where this photo of allegedly Jung Kook in the hospital came from. It's fairly easy to find someone that looks like Jung Kook to a mass audience in a quick 5-second or 10-second video. First off, finding an Asian man with similar haircut, you already have made like half the population believe it's Jung Kook. People's eyesights are not as good at always catching these small differences of a person's face. Also, if you're newer to the fandom, you may not know the members' faces that well yet. And if you're new to Asian content in general, it's difficult to spot the differences in faces between an ethnicity you haven't really seen too many faces of. So naturally, it's a lot easier than you think to get a Jung Kook or any BTS member look-alike. There was a Japanese drama called Zettai Reidu 4, I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's very intense drama, and the main guy has similar features to Jung Kook. There was a scene where he ended up in the emergency room, and the image looks kind of similar to Jung Kook. So people were using that to say that Jung Kook was in the hospital. And if you add a quick blur, some jump cuts, you will literally have someone who resembles Jung Kook very closely. But no, this moment is from a Japanese drama, so fear not, and this is not even a real scene. The actual person in the photo isn't even really injured, and even more to combat that, Jung Kook has actually been very active lately, doing a lot. He's been doing various live streams and updating a bit more. I think he did all of the promo stuff with Calvin Klein, and now he is just back home at the studio working on music. For many artists, the album process is one of the more relaxed and chill part of the promotion cycle. If there is a deadline or the artist is a perfectionist, then that becomes a lot less chill. But compared to touring and doing press, yes, the album part is the most chill, which means after spending 9+ hours in the studio, he definitely has time to sit at home, give an update or two, or hop on a live stream, which he does. Recently, he came on for a long time to talk about what he has been up to. His favorite book to read, which the author was so flattered and happy to hear. Then there was him trying to summon a ghost and befriend the ghost. You might be like, what? But you heard that right. Armies have this prank where they all collectively leave in the comments, what's behind you? And this joke has been going on for many years. So the boys have caught on to know that this is a prank, and the prank is supposed to scare the members into thinking there is a ghost behind them during the stream, or someone is trying to break in. And in the early days when this prank first started, it definitely did that. So when armies wanted to do that on a recent stream, Jung Kook made sure to say that he's actually not scared of ghosts at all, and tried to actually summon a ghost to be friends with them. He brought the ghost hunter stuff and then just sat there waiting to see if a ghost would pop up. Jung Kook also talked about his plans with Mingyu. If you are unaware of who Mingyu is, he is a member from the group 17, and he and Jung Kook have been very close friends for a while. So much so that the first dating rumor that the two ever had was that the two were dating each other. So Jung Kook actually talked about how he and Mingyu were still talking, and that they actually organized a time to hang out together recently. Jung Kook said that Mingyu wanted to film a TikTok video together and do a dance. He later clarified that he felt Mingyu won't actually ever do the dance, but it's just all talk. And wow, look at Jung Kook calling out Mingyu like that, saying that Mingyu doesn't like to keep his word. I am joking. This is very normal, especially when it's work and friendship. friendship. Sometimes people might feel lazy and would just prefer to chill with their friends. Sometimes they think it's a good idea to work, but when they get together, they just spend their time gossiping or catching up, that they never work on that project that they wanted to do. I'm sure you can all relate. I hate when this happens and do everything in my power to prevent it from happening because I hate wasting my time and I get tunnel vision. If I want to do something, that's all I can think about. And I think Jung Kook is the same way. I think he really wanted to film a TikTok dance, and guess what? It happened. Jung Kook and Mingyu did the super challenge and they absolutely killed the dance. They looked so good together and the video actually went viral on TikTok, and of course they both received so much praise with how talented they both are. Of course, this wasn't all fine and dandy once the release of this video came out, and the news of Jung Kook's solo album coming out, there was a lot of people trying to attack Jung Kook. Every time the members or any idol get back into the news, the haters come out of the woodworks and try to bring the idol down or attempt to ruin the comeback. So when idols like Stray Kids are in the news more during their promotion cycle, they'll get death threats and then they'll have to bump up security for these events. And I'm glad they do. Typically nothing happens, and I'm hoping it's because the threats are just threats and these people were never going to actually hurt any idols. But who knows? People were saying that Jung Kook was recently stalked and it was tied back to the TikTok dance, and people were wondering if Jung Kook was ever followed there. Jung Kook had been followed to the gym before and various other places, so the fandom is on high alert for these sorts of things. There's been random threats here and there that don't really make sense but still exist. For example, there was an alleged self-proclaimed stalker that claimed that she had footage of Jung Kook kissing his girlfriend and wanted to leak that photo. They always preface the photo they're about to leak as, "I'm happy for them," or "Jung Kook should be with someone." But at the end of the day, let them have privacy. But then also on the other hand, I don't think they ever actually have any real content to show. And even if they manage to post something, it's super blurry picture or a picture that is photoshopped together. The fandom is very good at Photoshop, and there's literally any idol photoshopped with any idol, and it all looks so real. I think once a lot of people saw the quote-unquote success of Gurumi Haribo, that Jennie and V leaker, they decided that they could also get followers, news coverage, and so many different things from just doing that. It's like the modern Sasang fans, right? They don't care about if it's real information, they just care if they can get their content big enough, their favorite idol will notice them. And so a lot of these people, while maybe not real Sasangs that actually have private information, they're still Sasangs trying to get attention of their favorite idol by lying. And a lot of these people are seeing that it works. Look at the alleged Sasang who sent food to Jung Kook's door. Jung Kook acknowledged them. And these Sasangs don't care if it's positive or negative acknowledgement. They just want to be able to say that a post was dedicated to them. But I am thankful to an extent that this is all they do because it doesn't actually hurt the idol physically and they don't usually do much else. They don't show up in person, so there should be no fear that Jung Kook would get harmed in real life. I think overall Jung Kook was safe with Mingyu at the dance practice. I don't think any of that information got out, and if it was in Hive or a private studio, then they're totally okay because it's a headache and a half to get into the studio, and they do that by design so no stalkers can just waltz in the building full of really famous idols. So yes, Jung Kook and Mingyu are okay and they will continue to be fine. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you.